Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig. The Brian Craig Show is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof replacement or repair, Tom Laporta is your guy. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, now Elon Musk has uncovered what is, I think without question, the biggest scandal in the history of Washington, D.C., in the history of it. And I'm going way back to the beginning. And very well may have uncovered the largest financial scandal in the history of the planet Earth. And we're talking about him getting into and opening up the books to USAID. And a lot of things have been coming out. And one huge scandal, which is a major media scandal, is it came out today that USAID has been funding Politico. The first payment was for $8.2 million. And then it came out that there was a lot of other monies, really millions of dollars from different government agencies pouring into Politico, including over $500,000 just to subscribe to whatever their subscription is. I don't know if it's monthly or yearly or whatever. But Politico has been getting millions and millions and millions of dollars through USAID and other government agencies. And if you're not familiar with Politico, I think most of you that listen to this show probably are very familiar with Politico. It's an online news outlet. It's been around for many, many years. And it's, of course, very, very left-wing. In fact, I remember years ago, I don't know if they still do this because I don't watch MSNBC enough to notice, but a few years back, I remember I would turn on MSNBC. Not only was Politico on MSNBC all the time, they had like a kind of a makeshift studio at the Politico offices. And Politico was one of, I don't know, it's hard to say the first, but they were one of the first breakout online news sources, even though it was liberal, right? Back in the days of Huffington Post and the early days of Breitbart and stuff, when Drudge was still a thing. And they came out of nowhere, and you can look them up and read their Wikipedia and get their BS biography. But what we're finding out now is that Politico has been 100% funded through financial fraud at USAID, which is U.S. taxpayer money. There's other things come out, too, that USAID has been giving money to support the BBC in England, Reuters, and other outlets. But Politico, this was exposed not just because Elon opened the books, but really because Elon Musk had shut down USAID and the payments were stopped. And what had happened is the staff at Politico did not get paid, and it's the first time they've never gotten paid. And this is an interesting thing because the last couple of days, some of the most famous Democrat lowlife members of Congress have been going to the USAID offices with these fake supporters and having these impromptu rallies. Elizabeth Warren, Ilhan Omar, Raskin, even Vindman was there yesterday. Schumer, a whole bunch. The list goes on. And they've been just in a panic over USAID. And with what has happened with Politico not making payroll, I imagine they didn't pay any of their other bills too, which would be like rent and whatever else they have to pay. They got no money. And they never really thought about having somebody set aside because they didn't need it. The USAID government taxpayer money was coming like clockwork every month for however long, we don't know yet, but for I'm sure years, and it would be coming forever. So you really got to wonder how many of these other, not just media outlets, because there's going to be others, but how many of these politicians and their cronies, they didn't get their checks this month either. And there very well could be, if this is how the kickbacks are made with Congress people and family members and companies and everything that they have connections with, it's possible that a lot of people that hold government positions, maybe even members of Congress and others, they're going to end up not making mortgage payments or car payments or credit card payments. They're going to be broke. When you've got what really it's on a high level, but they're almost like fixed income people that, like say someone's on Social Security, whatever day of the month someone gets their Social Security check deposited into their bank account by the U.S. Treasury, all these thieves and corrupt officials and corrupt media outlets like Politico, they just have that money deposited in their bank. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to rub elbows with clients, and with Politico, it's not just that Politico is left wing. Well, first off, no media outlet should be getting 10 cents from the U.S. taxpayers. That's that's just the way it is. But Politico, it's not just that they were left wing. It was one of those outlets really weaponized against Trump. And I just give you one example. I mean, we could do this all day if you go through Politico over the years. But here's an article from Politico that's really making the rounds that shows how biased they are. And this is from October 12th, right before the election. This is the headline, Politico, and they posted this on X. We watched 20 Trump rallies. His racist anti-immigrant messaging is getting darker. And then there's a whole article about it. So since Elon Musk, under the authority of President Trump, shut down USAID a couple of days ago, everyone's been saying, and there's good reason to say this, is that USAID is probably a CIA deep state company. And this is how the deep state gets things going around the world, not just here in the United States. They get agendas going. It's mind control. It's propaganda. And what the forces behind USAID, USAID, what the forces behind USAID were trying to do with Politico, and I'm sure we're going to find out there's other media outlets and things, they were trying to alter the result of the presidential election. They were trying to get Kamala to win, not Trump, by this messaging of this article. And you got to wonder, we've all accepted that the CIA and deep state agencies of the United States influence politics in countries around the world. We've suspected over the last few years they've been doing things like that in this country, and now we're getting proof positive of what's going on here. There is no doubt this is the biggest scandal. Whatever Trump, he's doing a lot of great, amazing things in his second term already. Whatever Trump does in his second term, the biggest accomplishment, I think the greatest accomplishment will be that he overturned Roe v. Wade in his first term, because the reason that's a tough one to trump, and there's no way you can trump that one, is because so many lives have been saved. And over the course of years, millions and tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people will be born and live their lives because Roe v. And over the course of forever, billions maybe will have been born because Trump overturned Roe v. Wade. So that's major. There's nothing he could do that I could imagine that would be greater than that. But with all the scandals that Trump has had to deal with, we talk about all the lawfare and everything, this U.S. aid scandal, that very well could be the biggest, bigger than anything. Because this organization has had way too much influence over this country. Who is behind it? Who are the puppet masters that get Politico funded? After the election, there were a lot of liberal influencers, and some of them are pretty well known, who after the election was lost and won by Kamala and won by our favorite president, Donald Trump, they were talking about how their views immediately went down. Their views went down. They were losing subscribers and all of that. Remember that? It was talked about right after the election. Some of these leftist influencers went online and talked about, I got no views now. I'm losing subs. What's going on? And I think what we're going to find out when Elon Musk's young team of geniuses start going through the books a little deeper at Politico, that all these things, like these liberal influencers and all, have all been taken care of by the taxpayers through USAID, like Politico. The Politico is just the first of probably an endless number. And USAID was started by Kennedy through executive order. I don't know if it was always this corrupt or if it started 5 years ago. My guess is it's probably been this way since the days of Lyndon Johnson, since the early days of it. There's no doubt about it. And it's really interesting that it's so scandalous, and these members of Congress are running off to the USAID offices trying to get in and having these rallies. Really, the reason they're doing that is because they're in a panic, because they're not getting their money. Their friends aren't going to get their money. Politico's the first. How many other people didn't get their money? We just haven't heard about it yet. If Politico had not missed payroll, we may not know about this story quite yet. It's because they missed payroll that this started to become scandalous. And today, Pam Bondi was sworn in the Oval Office by Clarence Thomas as Attorney General. I really hope that she starts looking into this immediately, because this is fresh in people's minds. How much influence and misinformation and propaganda has USAID been spreading through media outlets like Politico? We may never know the full extent of it, but we're going to know a lot about it. And, this story, it'll be very interesting to see how the media handle this story, because, the media, what the media really love, like more than anything, are stories about media, typically. But will the media touch this one? It'll be very interesting to see which media outlets cover this Politico story and which don't. So far, now this story just broke today, okay, and the television news media is a bit slow, but the television news media really will let us know which ones you can trust and which ones you can't trust based on which ones carry this Politico story and which ones don't carry the Politico story. Now, a lot of people may say, well, who cares about Politico? Politico has a lot of influence in liberal circles. And if they're doing this with Politico, they're doing it with others. And what happens a lot of times, okay, there are certain outlets, CNN, Politico, New York Times, Washington Post, there's certain outlets that are considered the news outlets of record. And they report something, and then the rest of the media start talking about it. And Politico is one of those. They had another story. They were the ones, they had a story accusing J.D. Vance. Remember when he was campaigning and he had the campaign plane, he had his dog with him, a German Shepherd? They were the ones who started calling it a rent-a-dog to call into question. Also, Politico, they were the original outlet to publish the fake story that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. They were the first ones to report that fake story. So how that happened, and if there's a proper investigation, what we're going to find with things like this is that there are people at these organizations that are fully aware that they're an arm of the deep state. Okay? They're fully aware of it. Maybe not everybody, maybe most people at an organization like this don't know it, but someone's getting those checks and someone knows those checks are coming. And the people that run an outlet like this know that USAID money coming in is how they make payroll or pay the rent or pay for the internet and, and run and pay for all the cost of running the business. So when there's an operation like Politico, it's not like they don't know. And what I mean by that is it's not like they come to them with fake advertisers and they're advertising. They're just sending them money from USAID. So they know that money's coming every month. So the people that are involved there, they know, at least the management know, and the people that pay the bills know, the people that do the accounting, they know that it's a financial scandal from USAID. Now, like I said, we're gonna get an inkling on where the rest of the media is so far as whether or not they're involved in USAID. And that'll be based on which media outlets cover it, which ones don't cover it, and if, say, they all cover it, CNN, how they report the story. If it's reported by an outlet, by a liberal outlet, as if, oh yeah, but it's no big deal, this is, and they try to spin it, they're probably getting USAID money too. It's really amazing when you look at alt media, right? The new media, like me or someone like Benny Johnson, people like us. It's amazing what we do because we don't have backers like some deep state U.S. government taxpayer paid backers for our operations. We actually have to go out there and do it, and you guys have to be interested. And when you have financial backing, this is an interesting because so much of what we do in the new media is what Hannity calls it is we're combating liberal media bias. And a lot of people, you hear this a lot when we talk about media bias. People say, "Hey, why doesn't CNN or Politico or why are they continuing to report all this fake news?" Politico is textbook fake news, as we're finding, right? Textbook fake news. Why do they keep reporting this fake news? No one's reading it. No one's watching it. No one's going to their website. See, if you've got the money coming from USAID, it doesn't matter if people visit your site or watch you on television. You don't care because you don't make your money that way. Your money is made by USAID just depositing it into your bank account every month and having other government agencies. It was the EPA, if I remember correctly, EPA, they bought $517,000 worth of subscriptions to Politico. And there's many others that have been pouring money from government sources in the Politico. So they're not really in business. They're in the business of spreading propaganda, of washing the brains of Americans, of trying to drive a news cycle in a certain way. So since they're not really in business, they really don't care if you watch it or click it. Okay? Because if they get that story out there in that headline, that's all they need is to get the pundits on television talking about it. Or, you know what, even people in the alt media like me taking that story and say, well, this isn't true, blah, blah, blah. And although hopefully what I say is more clever than blah, blah, blah. So they'll still get the story out there even if we are countering it. Now, I want to tell you guys about MyPillow and the incredible sale that's going on right now. Now, there's sales site-wide and the mega sales going on, and there's huge discounts with our promo code Kane on some of the most popular MyPillow products, the pillows, the slippers, the robes, the sheets, the towels. It goes on and on. But it's also free shipping site-wide. You can use our promo code for any special you see at mypillow.com. But right now, it is free shipping site-wide. No gimmicks, no minimum orders. We've been promoting for a while free shipping on orders over $75. That's not the case anymore. It's free shipping on all orders, no matter how small. So the example I'm using, the smallest item I know of offhand at mypillow.com are the socks, right? So if you go to mypillow.com and buy a pair of MyPillow socks, it's free shipping. Or you can order, the most expensive things and order $1 million worth of things, and it's also free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout. The free shipping offer will end without notice. I'll either just get a call or an email early in the morning before I go on the air. They'll tell me it's over, and that's it. So take advantage of this free shipping site-wide, no matter how large, no matter how small the order, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. My name is Brian Craig. I'm going to take our first break and be back right after this. Have you been chasing financial freedom your whole life, but still find yourself living paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. But ask yourself this: what if wealth wasn't just about money, but about faith, purpose, and lasting success? Author Mario R. Andre unveils the path to true financial independence in his book, Faith and Money Relations, available on Amazon. Faith and Money Relations is a blueprint for building wealth through faith and smart strategies. With this book, you'll learn how to convert your income into portfolio portfolio and passive earnings. Discover how to manage debt, grow multiple income streams, and create a life where money serves you, not the other way around. Author Mario R. Andre's approach is grounded in faith and designed to help you break free from corporate constraints and build wealth that stands the test of time. Are you ready to unlock your potential? Then order your copy of this must-read and life-changing book, Faith and Money Relations, from author Mario R. Andre. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Are you looking for affordable property insurance that fits both your life and your budget? The USAID General Insurance Home Protection Plan provides comprehensive coverage to safeguard your most valuable asset, your home. Protect your property and enjoy peace of mind with tailored policies that include fire and theft protection, liability insurance, and personalized options designed specifically for you. Their friendly team of experts will guide you every step of the way to find the very best coverage at the most affordable rates. Why settle for less when you can have peace of mind right now? Visit USAGeneralInsurance.com to schedule your consultation with an expert and get a personalized insurance plan that works for you. USA General Insurance. Protection for what matters most. Affordable, reliable, here for you. USAGeneralInsurance.com. Experience the mystery, elegance, and soothing power of Dark Night candles. Only at candlesbyross.com. Handcrafted with care by Ross, the creator of the Dark Night candle line. These luxurious candles are designed to ease anxiety, relieve stress, and bring a serene glow to your home. Each flame represents resilience, strength, and quiet sophistication, infused with deep, evocative fragrances. Dark Night candles are eco-friendly and handmade with care in the charming village of Grays Lake, Illinois. They're perfect for those who love modern luxury with a touch of mystique. Right now, enjoy free shipping and an exclusive buy two, get one free offer. No code needed. Shop the entire Dark Night candle collection today at candlesbyross.com. Let their glow bring warmth and serenity to your space. The Dark Night candle collection, where modern craftsmanship meets legendary spirit. Order now at candlesbyross.com. Brian here. Right now, Mike Lindell at MyPillow is offering his first ever mega sale. With our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, you could save big money on top MyPillow products, the MyPillow sheets, the MyPillow 6-piece towel set, the MyPillow that started it all, and much, much more. And free shipping on all orders. That's right, free shipping on all orders with our promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Now, one thing I'm not sure I mentioned in the first segment. Now, there with the Politico scandal, it's actually over $34 million in all federal tax dollars that have gone to Politico. The little over $8 million, that was directly from USAID, but there's been other agencies like EPA that have been pouring money into Politico. And, you know, it came up during the White House press briefing today, and Caroline Leavitt made a comment on it. Let me pull it up and play it for you here. This is Caroline Leavitt in the White House press briefing. She was asked by Brian Glenn, used to be with Right Side. And did you guys notice how puffy Brian Glenn's eyes were? Guess he must have been at one of those big Washington parties last night. But Brian Glenn asked Caroline Leavitt in the White House press briefing room about the USAID money, over $8 million going to Politico. And it was an interesting thing. No one asked about it before. Brian Glenn asked about the USAID money that we know for a fact went to Politico. Now, one reporter did a follow-up about it. And not only that, when Brian Glenn was asking the question, there was some lady reporter in front of him. I don't know who she is. She's with I don't know if she's with the regular press corps or what, but she was in the briefing and she was kind of smiling like, it was like she was annoyed by the question. And it was what I was telling you about just a bit ago, because I was watching the White House press briefing during the commercial break. How many people in that press briefing room are getting USAID money. And, another thing too, I was mentioning to you in the first segment that Politico, CNN, New York Times, and the Washington Post, there's others, but those are the main liberal sources that are the considered the news sources of record, right? So a lot of times at a White House press briefing, you'll hear whoever the press secretary is, whoever the president is. Today the New York Times is reporting that MAGA sucks. Any comment? They do that with Politico quite often. Politico, they're the ones that had the first story that the Hunter laptop was Russian disinformation. The disinformation was the story that it was Russian disinformation. But Politico was reported that 51 Intel, that's how they use it. So here's Caroline Leavitt today in the White House press briefing. Brian Glenn asked her about the USAID money going to Politico.
And I can confirm that the more than 8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOGE team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort. Yeah,
I mean, that's... this is a scandal bigger than you would think right now. It really is. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't know, No, it is. This is a massive scandal. We don't even have the tip of the iceberg yet on it. And the USAID scandal, them shutting it down and opening up the books, is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. The Associated Press has been getting tons of money too from USAID. You got to wonder how many. I know I haven't been. Yeah, but these fake news outlets are. Okay, now Lara Trump. I got to tell you, Lara Trump did such a great job with the RNC, but she's taken a new job hosting a show on Fox, and I'm going to go through this story on this. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. President Trump was in the Oval Office doing one of his press conferences from the desk, signing executive orders, and Rupert Murdoch, he was talking to him, was sitting right next to him. So Fox is back on board, and now they've given Lara Trump. Is it Lara or Laura? I think it's Lara. President Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, is starring in her own weekend show on Fox. Okay. It's a 9 p.m. Saturday spot. A source familiar with Fox's negotiation practices says they wouldn't be surprised if Lara's contract is as much as $5 million for a 2-year deal. Oh my goodness. I am very much underpaid, guys. I got to tell you. It's a 1-hour show with the commercials. So it's like 45 minutes once a week, and it's $2.5 million a year. Holy smokes. I know. I need one of these kind of deals going on. Additionally, the source said it's likely that Fox worked with Lara Trump to get a studio set up in Florida so she can stay and do her show from her home. The source from Fox said MAGA is cooler now. Now, I think MAGA was always cool, but there's been a big shift change at Fox. I don't mean shift like the time slots. There's a change with this one. We'll get to it in a minute, but Fox News has been all right. If you've been watching them lately, it doesn't mean I trust them because, they did some pretty terrible things over the last 5 years. But what they're doing now has been very pro-Trump, very pro-MAGA. I haven't seen anything questionable on Fox. But the source from Fox said MAGA is cooler now, claiming that it appears Fox has upped its budget to make higher than usual offers to those within the president's inner circle. Okay. It says here, President Trump was able to persuade some Fox personalities, mainly Pete Hegseth and Sean Duffy, to join his administration. The former took a role in the Pentagon. Lara's new show is Saturday at 9 p.m. and will start February 22nd. The current occupant of that time slot is Brian Kilmeade, who's on Fox like 20 hours a day. His show is going to be moved to Sundays at 10, which is that where Trey Gowdy's show is? I can't stand Trey Gowdy or his show. He hates Trump. He looks really weird. I don't know what he's done with his hair. I don't know what he's done with his cosmetic work. And I really don't care for anything that he says. And he does this thing, Trey Gowdy, at the end of his show where he takes questions from listeners that have been emailed in, and they're always very self-serving. When you're fishing, Trey, what type of lures do you? It's bizarre. But anyway, so she's going to start that show. You know, here's the thing about a lot of the different people in media and everything else. When it comes to anything that's kind of like mainstream media, like Fox, okay, you can never fully trust them, but that doesn't mean that you can't use them, right? You know, all of these outlets, they have a lot of people watch them, and I know a lot of people say, well, I don't watch the cable news. I don't watch too much of the cable news either. The only time I really watch cable news is if there's breaking news. But I got to tell you, I've been watching more cable news lately than I've watched in the last 5 years because Trump is making news every day and he's doing these impromptu press conferences all the time. And I don't want to miss the press conference. So it's easier for me to keep the TV on while I'm doing stuff and working than keep checking online for it and finding it online and finding a site that's going to carry it or finding someone. It's easier for me to have the TV on. And I've had Fox on a lot in the last couple of weeks, the last week in particular. And I watched them, I had them on quite a bit yesterday because I was waiting for the Netanyahu Trump event. And I will say, I have not heard anything that was not pro-Trump in the time I've been watching Fox over the last week. And I've watched, I think I've watched Fox more in the last 2 weeks than in the last 5 years combined. I know that's saying a lot, because 5 years is a long time, but it feels that way to me. And they've been doing it. Now, again, that doesn't mean you want to trust them. Paul Ryan's still on the board, and they do want to get us back, and they want us watching again, and all this kind of stuff. But no, you don't. You can never really fully trust them. Now, there was another big story. And there's a lot of big stories. Trump is breaking news constantly. I mean, today he signs an executive order that outlaws biological men, transgenders, to be on the girls' team. And that's a big story. But there's so many big stories going on. It's not going to get as much publicity or discussion in the press as you think. After today, it might even be forgotten. But Carolyn Levitt was talking about this. She was actually asked about it in the press briefing. And she says, well, it's going to be law. It's going to be federal law not to let biological boys or men in the women's locker room or play on their teams. And, I don't know how many of you, when you were in school, did any of you have a gym or PE, whatever you called it, in middle school or high school where you had to dress out and shower? I remember I did. And I remember when I was in, this is way too young for this to have happened. So this was in 7th grade. If I think back, I'm going to say I was in 7th grade in 1983, 84, somewhere around there. And it was here in Florida. Not only did we have to dress out, we were required to shower. Can you believe this? We were required to shower. And we had 2 gym teachers, 2 guys. And I don't know, maybe I got like a class action lawsuit against this school district and every boy I went to school with, because at the time I didn't think about it in that way because you're a child. But looking back on it, there's something disturbing about what the gym teachers did. So this is here in Florida. And so 7th grade, 83, 84, not only were you required to dress out and shower, if you didn't shower, this was crazy, okay? This was crazy. If you did not shower at the end, of class, your grade would be reduced by a full letter grade for the entire semester, right? So if you didn't shower one time, you had an A, you had a B for the whole semester. Can you imagine? And what the teachers did, this is really disturbing, isn't it? When I'm going to tell you the next part. This next part's really disturbing. It really is. There were 2 male gym teachers. I don't remember their names. I could probably find out online. I don't know if they're living or dead. And it was not here in South Florida. It was another part of Florida. I'm not even going to say what school district it is. But I might look into this. So you might say, well, how do they know if you showered or not? These 2 gym teachers would sit in the locker room at the entrance to because we had a group shower, they would sit on a chair or stand at the entrance and make sure that every boy showered, and they had a check they would mark if you showered, and if you didn't, you went down a letter grade. And that sounds pretty perverted, doesn't it? I think I might be a victim of abuse, and every boy I went to school with and everyone that went to that school with those teachers. I don't even know how that's legal, but that's what they did. But I do remember that's 7th grade. So what are you, 12? A lot of guys aren't even in puberty yet, or they're just starting, and some guys are already through it and shaving. I mean, and I remember, and it was it was the same for the girls, by the way. Although they had a girl teacher, it was the same rules for the girls, because I remember them talking about it too. And it was not fun to have to get naked at 12 years old in front of these other guys. If any of you ever had gym class like that at a young age, you might have had that experience. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're a girl in high school or college, right? This was middle school when I first had the experience, but you're a girl in middle school or college, and you're dressing out and showering in gym class, PE, or you're on a team. And there's probably already a lot of embarrassment with that, because kids, nobody likes to get naked, especially teenagers, in front of other people. Unless the lights are out and they're fooling around with somebody. You're right? Could you, and I've seen some of the people on the swim team talk about this. Could you imagine you're 16, 17-year-old girl, you're in a locker room, or you're a college girl in the locker room for your swim meet, and a fully naked man is right next to you with everything showing and hanging out, telling you he's a woman, but he's got everything hanging out? That must be traumatic. Well, with the president, and Caroline Levitt talked about this, with the president's executive order, it will be a federal crime for a school, public, a college, a teacher, a coach. It'll be a federal crime to allow a biological male to be in the locker room with girls. So what's going to happen with this, I know it sounds insane that you got to sign an executive. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. I mean, if I went in the girls' locker room and got naked when I was in school, I get arrested. Could you imagine? Get in a lot of trouble. But now, well, so what's going to happen is someone trans, and there'll probably be multiple people that are transgender, are going to try to get arrested. There may even be, if it's a kid, they may not be able to arrest them. But if it's an adult in college, like if it's a biological male college student, and they're 18 or older, they're adults. They could be arrested and charged with a pretty serious crime. I don't know. What would that be? Indecent exposure? Is that a sex offender status crime? And the coaches, the teachers, the school districts, principals, and others, there will be people at that level that also try to all be the next Rosa Parks and try to have a test case where a biological man does this and then boom, they get arrested. They're going to do test cases to try to play this out. And we've seen some instances happen. There was that thing in Congress recently with the bathroom. Remember that? There's going to be test cases, and it's going to get heated. And it's just stupid, but it's going to happen. And it'll probably happen pretty quick, because the order, as of today, it will be a federal crime. So will somebody try to do it tomorrow or the next day? I imagine they will do it soon. Now, just because they do it doesn't mean we're going to know about it. It may take a while for something to catch on and become viral online, but something will happen. Now, another big story, and it's really interesting because there's all these massive stories, but President Trump is doing so much all the time that the media, they can't deal with it. So you go through them quickly. Any one of these stories that I've talked about already today is at least a week, if not 2 weeks, of a complete media cycle, including the next one I'm going to have. But they're only worth a few minutes of discussion these days because something big is going to happen in 10 minutes, right? Every 10 minutes, President Trump's doing something. Now, this one's with the CIA. And President Trump's got a lot of problems with the deep state, right? You know the history. I don't have to go through it. But the CIA has offered buyouts to its entire workforce, no matter what the job is. They've offered buyouts to their entire workforce at the CIA to purge people out of there. They're offering them, and they get to keep all their benefits. If they got enough time in to retire, they get all their retirement benefits plus 8 months of their salary. And it's unheard of to have a buyout. You know, they do this in the corporate world, but I've not seen this done in the government before. And, you know, I imagine a lot of these people are going to take it. They're going to take it for a couple of reasons. One, they figure they're just going to get fired anyway. Two, they don't want to work for Trump. Three, a lot of them are probably afraid if they continue to do what they're doing, they're going to get jammed up legally because they're probably spying on him and doing things they shouldn't do. Some of them know that they can make a whole ton of money in the private sector with their expertise from the CIA. But this is an interesting thing because you really got to ask yourself, is President Trump trying to do to the CIA what he will be doing for sure to the Department of Education? And that is shutting it down. Is he really trying to shut down the CIA? It looks like he might be doing that. I know. It's really amazing, everything he's doing. I mean, he's been president for just over 2 weeks, and he's done more than most presidents do in 8 years. And if you know, I mean, he's not even apologizing for it. He's just doing it. He's not getting involved in debates. It's like the whole thing with Gaza. He just said, we're doing it. And he didn't get in any back and forth with the media over this either. He just did it. Now, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You know, we've had listeners that listen to me all over the country on different platforms, travel from other states to Florida to see Dr. Appleton and have him treat them with his laser wave pain treatment. I mean, that pain's pretty bad. And this laser treatment, it works. It works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. And, you know, the amazing thing about it is it works. And what it does is it repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. It is 100% painless. Not only is it painless, you don't even feel it. There's no sensation at all during the treatment. There's no shots, no injections, no medications, no pills, no downtime. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. It works. That's the big one, too. It works. And it works on every type of pain I have ever heard of. I've met so many listeners who have told me how Dr. Appleton has rid them of pain like he's done with me 7 times. With Dr. Appleton, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. But you can make an appointment if you'd like. And if you're coming from out of town, I'd recommend you do take an appointment. The consultations are always free with Dr. Appleton. Just mention that Brian Craig sent you in, and you get that free consultation. If you have x-rays, MRIs, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look over them for you, all right? Here's his number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. My name's Brian Craig. We're going to take a very quick break and be back with much more. Don't go anywhere. Are you ready to ignite your faith? Join the YouTube channel Corey Praise. That's Kouri Praise, all one word on YouTube. Corey Praise on YouTube is where inspiration meets connection. From powerful testimonies to uplifting messages. Grow together in faith with Corey Praise. Subscribe today and be a part of the community. Just search Corey Praise on YouTube. Kouri Praise, all one word on YouTube. Faith is just a click away. From author Vanya Demedion comes a book that might just change your life. Are you feeling stuck in your love life? Maybe you're divorced, heartbroken, or just wondering if true love is even out there for you. This game-changing new book, From Divorced and Depressed to Soulmate Success, Manifest True Love in Less Than a Year, is written by someone who's been exactly where you are right now. Divorced, lost, and doubting everything. But it all turned around and manifested her soulmate. And now she's here to help you do the same. This is not just another book about dating. It's a proven step-by-step guide that will show you how to align your energy, clear the blocks that are holding you back, and attract the love of your life on your terms. Whether you're ready to manifest your dream partner or just take back your power, this book gives you the tools you need to do it. So stop the endless swiping and start manifesting the soulmate you deserve. Find a link to the book in the description of this episode and order your copy of From Divorced and Depressed to Soulmate Success. Manifest true love in less than a year. Remember, love is closer than you think. You just have to take the first step. Luxury should be a feeling, not a fortune. Alani Samora bring you the sophistication of high-end perfumes without the designer price tag. Their expertly crafted perfumes mirror the opulence of luxury brands, delivering long-lasting, captivating scents that leave a lasting impression. Why pay more when you can experience elegance for less? Alani Samora only use premium ingredients as well as advanced techniques to create exquisite fragrances that rival the world's most renowned names at a fraction of the cost. Not sure where to start? Try a perfume sample set and discover your perfect scent before you commit to a full bottle. Luxury is no longer out of reach. It's within your grasp. Shop now at AlaniSamora.com and experience affordable elegance. AlaniSamora.com. Brian here. Right now, Mike Lindell at MyPillow is offering his first ever mega sale. With our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, you could save big money on top MyPillow products, the MyPillow sheets, the MyPillow 6-piece towel set, the MyPillow that started it all, and much, much more. And free shipping on all orders. That's right, free shipping on all orders with our promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. And the Politico story, it's getting deeper. Right now, as I'm speaking, it's the number one trending story on X. And that's, an interesting thing. If Elon Musk had not bought Twitter and turned it into X, and these liberal lunatics were still running Twitter, I bet you this story would get you banned from Twitter. I bet you they would have shut the story down like they did the laptop. But they didn't make payroll, and they sent out an email, Politico, to their staff. Dear team, Golai, that's the guy that I guess is the front man that owns it for the deep state, and I want to address this morning's payroll issue directly. Due to what we believe to be a technical error. See, when you got this racket going where you're stealing taxpayer money and the money doesn't come, they're calling that a technical error. And at the time that they wrote this email, they may not have known what happened yet. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But regardless, a technical error, my eye. Due to what we believe to be a technical error, employees did not receive their paychecks as scheduled. We understand the urgency of this matter and sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Our team is working diligently with our systems vendors and the bank to identify the root cause. Well, the root cause is you didn't get the money sent in. See, that's what I was telling you guys. It's not a real business. And you know what? I bet you most of the liberal media are not. The country is very conservative. Not just now. The United States has always been conservative. We were founded by Puritans, right? But liberalism is overrepresented in media. So it seems liberalism to be much more popular than it is. And we've all know about Operation Mockingbird and everything else. Is with this USAID and Politico, would that be part of Operation Mockingbird or an offshoot of it? It's certainly the same concept. And you really got to ask yourself, how much of the media is like this? Let me go back. It says, we understand the urgency of this matter and sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. Our team is working diligently with our systems vendors and the bank to identify the root cause and implement a solution as quickly as possible. The root cause is Elon Musk exposed their scam. That's the root cause. That's right. We will keep you updated as we learn more and work to resolve the problem as quickly as possible. Thank you for your patience and understanding. If you have any immediate concerns, please feel free to reach out directly. Now, this was an email sent to all the employees of Politico yesterday. And this came out, I don't know, late in the morning today. It started coming out. So this tells me there's people at Politico who leaked all this information out. And let me go to Politico to see what they're doing. I haven't been to Politico in ages. Wait a minute. Politico. Let's see if they've, okay, here we go. Okay, just to give you an idea, okay, this is their lead story. Frankly insane. Trump's plan to ship migrants to Guantanamo could quickly collapse. A reality check from a top lawyer who knows Guantanamo. Well, that's their lead story right now. Here's their next one. Trump's Gaza fantasy is a recipe for a forever war. Trump is not committed to sending troops to Gaza. Let's see here. Trump is turning out to be very pro-China. These are all headlines in Politico right now as I'm speaking. I just pulled up the website. And there's a bunch of other things. What Elon Musk said is a bold-faced lie. Oh, let me see if it happens to be a story about them getting the money. Let me read that. This is interesting. Okay, so this is a story from yesterday afternoon. Okay, so this is Politico. And now we know that Politico has gotten over $8 million from USAID. This is their headline. What Elon Musk said is a bold-faced lie. A former Republican director of USAID says, this former Republican director needs to be questioned. Says the agency is critical to U.S. interest and can't be abolished or folded into the State Department. In recent days, let me read through that. This is textbook of what we're talking about, right? In recent days, the Trump administration has taken steps to shutter the United States Agency for International Development. Hey, if it's international, why are they giving money to this U.S.-based fake news outlet or USAID, which distributes billions of dollars worldwide annually? Now, listen to this. This is Politico. They couldn't make payroll. They're going to probably go out of business. They've got millions of dollars from USAID. This is how they describe USAID in Politico. USAID, and this is an article from yesterday afternoon posted at 5:05 p.m. written by Michael Hirsch. USAID, which distributes billions of dollars worldwide annually to help alleviate poverty, treat diseases, and respond to families and national disasters, as well as promote development and democracy. They left out the part sending millions of dollars so fake news can pay their bills. They left that out. President Donald Trump has said USAID is run by lunatic radicals who promote leftist causes, and his appointed efficiency expert, billionaire Elon Musk, has called USAID a criminal organization that needs to die. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he's the acting director of USAID, and the administration is reportedly trying to fold the agency into the State Department. But Andrew Natosis, who ran USAID under George W. Bush, another war criminal, and a lifelong conservative Republican, calls such moves illegal and outrageous. What Musk and Rubio are doing is criminal. They can't abolish the aid programs without a vote of Congress. An aid program giving millions of dollars every year to Politico? This is amazing. Let me tell you, when Trump started calling the fake news, when he coined that term. A beautiful one, wasn't it? Moreover, they missed the point that U.S. aid is critical to winning the competition with China and reflects long-standing Republican priorities. It's just 1% of the federal budget, says Natasos. I think I'm mispronouncing his name. Bear with me. Natissios. I don't know. Who also played a leading role in building World Vision, the largest Christian non-governmental organization in the world with programs in 103 countries. I bet you they get USAID money too. Under Natasos, who now teaches at the Bush School of Government and Public Services at Texas A&M, if you want to grow up to be a government war criminal, that's where you go to school. USAID nearly doubled its budget to $14 billion with a worldwide workforce of 8,100 employees under this guy. Operated in more than 80 countries, including major aid projects in 3 war zones. He was also instrumental in launching one of the most successful programs in U.S. aid history, the president's plan for AIDS relief, which has saved 25 million lives since 2003. What Elon Musk said is a bold-faced lie. It's the worst idea I could possibly imagine to fold it in the state. Yeah, then it'll be the accountability. People see where the money's going, and they're pissed. People are pissed. Why is it a terrible idea? The State Department is one of the best diplomatic institutions in the world, but they are not program managers. They don't do assessments. Really, someone did an assessment to give this money to Politico? They don't do evaluations of aid programs. Oh, by the way, speaking of aid, let me tell you guys, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for your support of the program. And you know, when you're new independent media like we are here, you know, we don't have tax dollars coming to us. And I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And it's greatly appreciated, and it helps out a lot. You know, you guys know that I've been broadcasting from my home studio, and I was able to do that in very much in part due to you who are Patreon supporters and your support of the program. And you're saving me minimum 2, sometimes 3 hours on the road of driving each day. And, you know, I've had multiple people tell me since I've been broadcasting from my home studio, which is where I'm recording now, that the radio show in the morning sounds a lot better. Yeah, it is, because I don't have that long drive there wearing me down. And if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the episode. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you also have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. The names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike, P, Dale, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. And again, if you would like to support the show and become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description below. Well, listen, this is a very long article. I'm not going to read any more of it, but just yesterday, Politico has this like 10,000 word article about how what Elon Musk said about USAID is a lie. And we're finding out not only is it true, sadly, there's a lot more truth we're learning about all the time. And it's really, frankly, scary. You've got to ask yourself, what else has this USA organization done? How many fake dialogues are they behind? How much, you know, it came out yesterday that USAID was paying the lawyers that were suing Trump. How is that possible? How is that legal? Well, it's probably not legal, but it's possible because there's never been accountability. Over the weekend, some stories came out about how President Trump and Elon Musk had to fight with Treasury Department employees for Elon Musk to gain access to the payment portal at the Treasury Department. The USAID, the executive that was running that, had to be removed from the building. It was getting physical from some reports. These people have not had any accountability for decades. And my guess is all this probably started a little bit slow after the Second World War. Before the Second World War, we weren't a world power. We became a world power then. And they started with that Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe, and that was the beginning. But when someone's a thief, like these people have been, and corrupt, they take it a step further each and every time. And I'm really curious when we find out the types of people that have held these jobs dispersing all the money. And I'm gonna say that I bet you that the jobs that the people have that are responsible for overseeing the Treasury payment system and the USAID dispersion payments of cash. I can't get the word out. Dispersing of cash. It very well could be multi-generational within the same family. This is what's been going on is a top secret operation. Yeah, all the politicians know that they get their money from there. They know what Politico, but do they really know who's behind it and how it works? Probably not the details of it. It's a very closely guarded secret, highly classified. And you've got to ask yourself, how many of these things that we've gone through, not just the warfare against Trump, how many of these things have we gone through that are through this? With the Kennedy assassination and Richard Nixon, we talk about this a lot because it's so relevant. It's believed now that President Kennedy was killed because he was going to withdraw us from Vietnam. And the military-industrial complex wanted him out. It was about money. It's always about money with these people. The same people ran Nixon and Spiro Agnew out of office. So what point did USA turn into what it is? And we're going to find out there is someone or a single agency that's behind it. They're not just doing things on their own. There's too much money involved. There's an organization. And notice how, like in that Politico story, they want to tell you it's all about these things overseas. It's really about the things in this country that they're trying to control. That's what it's truly all about. Now, Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting, he really does amazing work. We first found Tom Laporta because Steve Kane had a lot of leaks in his roof because he had a wet spot on his ceiling. And, when you got a wet spot on your ceiling, that means you got a leak in your roof. And he ignored it, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you knew, he had a bunch of leaks in his roof. And Steve had to get a whole new roof replaced, and the water and the leaks had caused a lot of water damage throughout his house. And Tom Laporta is also a contractor. Steve had to have 40% of the drywall in his home replaced because it was filled with deadly black mold. The roof, some of the walls had to be replaced because they were rotten it was a mess. A leaky roof is nothing to mess around with. And as soon as you have that wet spot on your ceiling, even if it's the size of a quarter, even smaller, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida, he can help you. He works on every type of structure, residential, commercial, and municipal. And he works with every type of roofing material there is as well. Okay. Now, we give you his cell phone number. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. And I want to mention, he's not just a roofer, he's a contractor. And because of that, he's able to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which speeds things up a lot. Okay. You get his cell phone number. I'm going to give you his website, which is LaportaRoofing.com. His cell phone number is not on his website. If you listen to me on any platform I'm on, you get his cell phone number. That's an amazing thing to have. You can call or text him. He'll give you a quote. His number, and he's a good MAGA guy. He'll take good care of you. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And again, online at LaportaRoofing.com. Well, this story has just begun. There's a lot more that's going to come out about it. And when I say this story, I'm not talking about the Politico. I'm talking about USAID in general. And, when we talk about draining the swamp's deeper than we thought because Trump is uncovering things that no one in this country, unless you're one of the corrupt insiders in D.C., even knew about. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.